Good evening and welcome. It is Absolute Rugby on NBC1. My name is Wesley Vries and welcome to the show. In tonight's show, we'll be looking at Sevens Rugby, touch a bit on the Under-20 rugby team's preparations for the Under-20 Africa Cup in Madagascar, and of course look at Super Rugby and ending off with the fixtures as well for local rugby, and touch on Super Rugby fixtures for this weekend as well. It's going to be a jam-packed show. In the studio joining me, like I've said, is Roger on my immediate far left. Good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Wesley.
We are looking forward to the show tonight.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
All right, that's Roger. He's the coach of the Under-20, and next to him we have Robert Dickson, the team manager of the Sevens rugby team. Robert, good to have you.
Thanks, Wesley. Thanks for having me.
Okay, looking forward to the show tonight?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at it. Sevens rugby. It looks like it's gaining momentum in the country.
Yeah, well, Sevens is a sport that a lot of kids can get involved with.
Yeah.
With the 50-man rugby, it's always the boys are getting bigger,
Yeah.
and there's less and less space for the smaller, faster, more agile players.
Yeah.
And
So even if you take the ball and run down, you need to be sure where you are.
No, definitely. So it's definitely, and also for the bigger guys who've got pace and a lot of skill. You know, there's always place for them in the sevens, and it's an entertainment sport. You know, it's a viewer sport, and people like to watch it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely on the up in the country, around the world as a sport, and in Namibia as well.
Let me get it. If we could get it right, we can field one of the best teams. That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity to work with players for the past 4 years, especially at under-20 level. And within our national setup, there's a huge amount of players playing abroad that are ideally suited for the sevens code.
Yeah.
So I think not too many people at this stage will back up my statement, but I'm quite positive that if we get the right structure in place, if we get the right players around the world to play for the Namibian team, to play for the Fish Eagle, we can field one of the better teams on the circuit.
You'll back him. Yeah. Okay, I'll back him also. Now, Rob, let's look at it. What matters most in sevens? Speed, skill, or strength?
Well, it's a bit of all the elements that you named. I think the ability to read the game and to attack space and also defend space is very important in the sevens game, because there's always a lot of space. In 15-man, you don't always have that space available. Also, in defence, you cover a lot more space. So I think a bit of everything, you know, agility, strength, skill, speed. But for me, the most important thing in the sevens player is what's between his ears.
Okay.
How well he can read the game and how well he can adapt to different from game to play 3 or 4 games on a day. How well he can adapt between games into different structures, defensively and attacking.
Okay. And Namibia, of course, invited to take part in the Hong Kong Sevens as well.
Yeah.
What does it mean for a country such as Namibia to be part among some of the great sevens rugby playing nations?
Well, it's important for us in the sense that sevens in the last couple of years hasn't done too well.
Okay.
There's been sevens teams going to the African Cup and all that, but it's for the young. We've got quite a young group together now, with a couple of experienced players. But taking these guys to Hong Kong put sevens on another level for Namibia, and if we can get the backing from the corporates coming back with good results. Like Roger said earlier, if we can get the money to get the systems in place, we can really be a top team, and it means a lot for sevens in Namibia and rugby as a whole.
Being part of Hong Kong Sevens, that should be sort of a big step in the right direction for Namibia as well, Roger.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful opportunity, not just for the sevens code, but I think for Namibian rugby in general and for the Namibian rugby-loving public as well. It'll be so good to see your team on the weekend playing against the host, Hong Kong. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're playing against Hong Kong as well in our first game. So that'll be a massive fixture for us. It's not a high-ranked team, Hong Kong, but I think because they are the hosts of such a huge tournament with regards to sevens, it'll be a massive fixture for us. And I'm just overwhelmed with pride to see a Namibian team playing in that sort of competition. And that's a result of our position with the past African Cup. So there's been good work going in by Yuri and Robbie in getting the guys prepared under the circumstances, we need to say as well. So we're just looking forward for them to go out there, do their country proud, and eventually, if they're playing with with a lot of passion, stick to their structures, we'll get the necessary results. Yeah.
Okay. Rob, the mood in the camp, how is it? The players getting it together?
Yeah, the players have been together for 4 weeks now. We played in the Zimbabwe tournament, the Victoria Falls tournament, Quest Sport tournament 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We were together 2 weeks before that. Players have been working hard in the gym. They on a fitness level that they've never been before.
Yeah.
And as a squad, they're really doing well. All living together at the coast in a house, so they're quite cramped. So yeah, the guys are doing well. The mood in camp is very good. The guys have been practicing 4 times a day, 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, we feel the guys are in the best headspace they possibly could be. Yeah, so we're just looking forward to the challenge.
Okay, so that's it. Rob telling you that the boys have been in the coast. Now I can tell you our cameras are also in the coast, and we've been at the training to see how the boys are getting it together for the Sevens Rugby.
The national sevens team will compete in several tournaments this year, starting with the Hong Kong Sevens tournament next weekend from the 7th to the 9th of April. 12 players have been selected, and Absolute Rugby spoke to Jory Boyson, coach of the team, to find out if they are ready yet.
Very much so, yeah. We went through a rigorous selection process, fitness being the main criteria, and I'm very happy with the side that's been chosen for Hong Kong.
George Niehaus, Jandri Dutoit and Martin Cronje are some of the players selected, but very little is known of them. So, who are they?
Yeah, I've decided to get some youngsters into the side. Hong Kong not being our only objective, but the Olympics 2020. So we need to start with the young side, and they are an addition to the side as 3 youngsters towards our goal, which is qualifying for the Olympics in 2020.
Sevens Rugby has been on the rugby circuit for some time, but Namibia just got their first invite now. What does this invitation to Hong Kong mean to Namibia?
It's the first time in history that we have had the opportunity to play in a qualification towards the HSB circuit. For Namibian Sevens, it means a lot. We've been invited to numerous tournaments in the past, and for the growth of the sport in Namibia, very important that we make the most of it. It's also a good opportunity to broadcast our talent, and it's good for youngsters to see that we make use of the opportunity to play overseas, and hopefully the boys will do well.
Boyson also spoke about his research they have made on other teams and how he hopes his team can make an impact.
We've done a lot of research on game structures and attacking and defensive structures on teams we're going to play against. So as far as I can tell the public, we are well prepared to face the challenges that Chile will bring, and also Sri Lanka and Hong Kong. So as far as preparation goes, fitness and strength and conditioning being the focus for our campaign up to now. We've been rigorously pushing towards fine-tuning our defensive and attacking game plan towards Hong Kong.
It will simply be a bumper year for Sevens Rugby. If Namibia do well enough, they could get a place on the prestigious HSBC World Sevens Tour. This year, in October, they will compete at the Asupol Sevens tournament in Stellenbosch, South Africa. That will be followed by the Southland Sevens in Swakopmund on the 3rd and 4th of November. 2 weeks after the Southland tournament, Boyson's team will head to the Africa Sevens Championship. That is now quite a schedule. Absolute Rugby wish the boys the best of luck.
And that's how the players are getting ready for the Sevens Rugby, and so they'll be part of the Hong Kong Sevens as well. And Rob, you mentioned it's going to be a good opportunity for these boys as well. And probably some will be, it will be their first time to go out there as well. Maybe just the pressure that comes with playing in these kind of big tournaments. How big is it?
It's enormous. Playing in front of crowds of 40 or 60,000 plus people, and cameras everywhere, and just the noise alone, I think, is enough to make any rugby player want to run away. But it's something the players have to get used to. Okay. If we want to continue on this road, they'll have to get used to it and perform under pressure. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's what rugby is all about. It's a spectator sport, and people want to come and watch you play rugby. So it shouldn't be too much of a factor for the players if they're in the right mental place. But
they can make it.
Yeah, but it can be a factor. But we'll try to manage it as far as possible.
Okay. And when is the team leaving?
We're leaving on Sunday at 1:30 from Osiakutaku for Joburg. Yeah, so we're really looking forward just to get on the plane and
whole
get the
adventure
players
and
there. Everyone's. It's been so much organisation and scratching for funds and meetings with corporates, and it's just all the hard work that's been done, especially for the players practicing 4 times a day.
Did you get the funds? Funds are sorted?
Well, not all of it. I think there'll never be enough, but the local community has stepped in. Individuals have started giving money out of their own pockets. It's really been fantastic just to see how much people in this country really love rugby and what they're willing to do. They're willing to eat bread just to give rugby for 7 so that we can go on a tour.
All right, so Roger, Sevens, everything is sorted. Your message?
Yes, I just think, especially to the players, I want to go out there and enjoy themselves. It's an opportunity of a lifetime, and with the modern game, with injuries and stuff that can happen, it's so quickly, then all of it's gone. So it's important for them to treasure the moment while they're in it. Obviously doing their country proud, but they need to enjoy it as well. And I'm quite excited looking at the group we're playing in. I'm quite excited that the boys will do well this weekend or next weekend when they play.
Rob, it was good having you in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, that's Rob, team manager for the Sevens rugby team, and Roger also joining us in the studio. When we come back, we'll be joined by Chad Plateau in the studio, and we'll be looking at under 20 and of course Tad's on Super Rugby as well. Time for us to take a break on Absolute Rugby. Welcome back. It is still Absolute Rugby that you are watching on NBC 1. My name is Wesley Vries once again. If you're just joining us, time for us to talk under 20 rugby, because Namibia, the under 20 team, will be defending their Africa under 20 Cup in Madagascar. The team will be leaving soon, but in the studio joining me is of course Roger Thompson, who is the coach of the under 20s. Roger, good to have you. Training has been going on well?
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to have a decent set of preparation so far.
Okay.
We're really looking forward to the Under 20 African Cup. It's going to take place on the island of Madagascar. Most of the players haven't been there. I was fortunate enough to visit Madagascar on 2 occasions with the national team. One very good memories, the other one not so good memories, but it's a difficult place to go to and play rugby, because the fans get behind their team and really rally their team on to do good, and they perform well in front of a strong home crowd, so we're definitely up for a challenge.
All right, that's it. So that's Roger. He's looking forward to the challenge, and I'm sure he has good and not so good memories as far as going to Madagascar is concerned. Now, one of the players that will be making sure that Roger is coming back with good memories is, of course, Chad Plateau. He's one of the players. Chad, good to have you.
Yeah,
looking forward to the task?
Yes, it's going to be a tough one, but we're going to pull through, make our country proud.
And the training, how has it been going?
The training, it's been difficult, but we started off slowly, but we're getting there, we're making progress. The team's doing good, we're gelling together. So I'm confident in our team.
Okay, that's it. Now, Roger, I see that you also, it's like you're taking it very seriously, because you guys actually trained on Independence Day as well. Is it, are you losing any sleep over that?
No, not at the moment. I think it's most of the players were available on the morning of the independence. We actually had a very good session against the Premier League log leaders, UNAM. We had a very good contact session. So we jumped in the bus, went over to UNAM, had a decent session, 45-50 minutes against strong opposition. It's important for us to prepare against opposition a bit higher than we might play against, in order for us to get all of the stage fright out of the way as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because most of these players, they know what to expect with regards to age grade. But the style of rugby that the Madagascars play is definitely one we'll have to adapt to as quickly as possible. And I think with UNAM, with the type of rugby they're playing, as we've seen this year so far in the Premier League, is they like to give the ball width, they like to give the ball air, they've got fast runners, they play a high tempo game. So that's why we could expect, and that was the reason being training against a team like UNAM.
Being based in a professional setup like South Africa, I think going through the ranks and so on, and when you come to Namibia, is there a huge difference between the playing styles or even the level of competitiveness?
Not really. Like here in Namibia, we always say our rugby is our culture.
Yeah.
We say it's our culture. So you have different playing styles and how the coaches coach and so on. But rugby is the same. We play it because we love it, and there's no much difference. It's
the same ball. It's 15 players aside and so on.
Yeah. So there's no big difference. So we just play rugby. We enjoy our game, and I'm one of the players that you go abroad. I like to talk about my country, my culture, what I learn here. So I'm proud of my country, and I think this is going to be a good one for us.
But I mean, just being based in South Africa, what does it bring to Chad on a professional level and on an individual level as well?
It gets you on a more, how can I say, a professional level. So your intensity of work gets higher. So you get stronger, you get faster. They teach you a lot of stuff you don't learn on a amateur level. Yeah. But there's no much difference because all the players, when it's on the pitch, it's a different story. So there's no much difference. Say you're playing abroad, playing in another country. So,
Roger, being defending champions, how much added pressure does it put on you as the coach and the players?
Yes, we just had a session with the boys yesterday. We were doing a bit of defense, and I think defense is a key part of our component, especially traveling to Madagascar. And the message was clear that the boys, especially with the training session last night, the boys pitch up. They take defense really seriously, and I think if we want to win competitions abroad, our defense needs to be sound. So it's a very important competition for us. It's the first time in an under-20 format that we have the African Cup. It was usually under-19. Yeah. So the message is clear, and that's the feeling amongst the boys, amongst the team, amongst the union. If we want to be the best in Africa, if we want to be called African champions, we're supposed to go out and play anybody, everywhere or anywhere in Africa and be successful.
Okay. And in terms of final preparations, when is the team leaving? And are you going to have more stringent sessions, or is it just from now until you guys leaving, just to take it slow, make sure that the players are in a good physique and mentally as well?
Yes, we're looking to get the group finalized, the touring squad finalized within this week. Over the next 3 or 4 days, we make our submission for the team to be signed off. So that'll take place, but we're currently doing is medical screening, just to see that everybody's fit, healthy and ready to go. The guys are struggling with injuries. We're trying to buy a bit more time for them to recover. They're working with our rehab specialist, Dominic Leroux, is doing an excellent job with the players. So we're just buying a bit of time, but over the next 3 to 4 days, perhaps a week at longest, we'll have to look the group of 25 to be finalized. We'll up the tempo with regards to our training sessions from next week on. We're obviously also looking to play 2 preparatory games. And the idea I have is perhaps assembling a group of under-22 players, a group of players who have been part of the under-20 setup, who doesn't qualify for under-22 any longer, because we know with the past 2 under-20 groups we've had are very talented players. So if we can get them together, present a challenge to the current group of under-20 players.
Okay. So Roger looking ahead to finalizing his team, and of course it's going to be a tough assignment for the boys down in Madagascar as well. Earlier on when we started the show, we spoke to Robert Dickson, the team manager of the Sevens rugby team. It's Super Rugby time now, and we'll be looking at what's happened last weekend and sort of a preview this weekend's games. Because if you look at the conferences, South African conferences, that the teams there, the Lions, the Sharks, all picked up very important wins and were sort of not very big, but a big score margin as well. Judd, one of the teams that you'll be following is, of course, the team that you are affiliated with. But looking at Super Rugby, the start of it, I think it's now 3 games down or 4 games down.
Yes.
Your thoughts on how last weekend panned out?
Yeah, it's going difficult.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're improving in our basic play, but the team it's going to take time. It's one of the most difficult tournaments you get in professional rugby.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to just jump a few steps and be the best out there. It's going to take some time. We have new coaching staff and there's new players coming in. So players have different playing styles, so we have to, like I said in the first, we have to gel together.
Yeah.
So if the team gel together, it's going to be better because then everybody understands the culture we're playing, the rugby with our style we're supposed to play.
Okay.
So.
All right. Conferences, the African conference, you have the New Zealand and Australia. Which conference have been the strongest so far?
Yeah, if you look at the, especially the New Zealand conference, they're playing some good rugby. They're getting the necessary results. There's good competition between the New Zealand sides as well. So I think at the moment, if we can establish which union or nation might lead the pack at this stage, I think it's the New Zealand teams.
Okay. So just looking at these weekends, your team Bulls, it's Sunwolves for you guys. Exciting. Is it another tough assignment for you?
Yeah, we in the Super Rugby you don't take any team lightly, so I think it's going to be a task for us to take on the Sunwolves because it's not going to be an easy game. They're going to come for us, and we haven't ever had a good season so far. So they're gonna say we can take the Bulls. So I think the boys are going to step up. We're going to take the points. So I back the boys.
Okay. Let's quickly get back to the under-20s. Do you know who you'll be playing and any injury worries and so on?
Yes, we're playing Madagascar on the 19th of April. That's the opening game of the competition. So we're playing the host. So that was my reasoning behind. We need to get our preparation in order because that will be one massive challenge. And then 4 days later, we look to play. Either in the final or in the 3rd place, but at this stage we're having our eyes set on playing the final, which is either up against Kenya or Zimbabwe. We've played in Zimbabwe at under 19 level last year at home here at Hage Geingob Stadium, and we know they kept us busy for about 50 minutes. They had the lead at half time, so we can expect tough competition going abroad. With regards to injuries at the moment, we've just had Morenzo Strauss, who has a grade 2 tear on his ankle ligament. So he's doubtful at the moment. We've also have Diamando, who's struggling with small niggles with regards to his ankle and his knees. But the boys are taking part in club rugby every weekend, so they're exposed to playing rugby, which is a good thing. But there's always the risk of getting injury. But we just have to work beyond that and get them managed and fit, and hopefully they'll be ready for the competition. Okay,
Chad, playing Madagascar in the opening game, I mean, as host, and you being the defending champion, it's added pressure on you guys as well to perform because Madagascar wouldn't want to start the tournament with a loss as well.
Yes, the pressure is on us, but I don't think we're gonna take it lightly. I think the boys we're gonna go out there. We're gonna show them on the field we mean business.
You mean business.
We mean business. So I think we're gonna do good. I back the boys because the effort we put in the training, we have one of the best coaches in the country backing us. So I don't think we will do bad. I back the boys. I think.
So Madagascar should be worried.
Yeah, Madagascar should know we're on our way there. So yeah.
All right, Roger. Before you go, we also have the local Premier League, which has started now. Players are being called up to the teams, but the games are still continuing over the weekends. Is it a worry? Will it not weaken the players or the teams if the players are called up into the national service? Or is it continuous sort of assessment for the players as well? And when the team does good, the players experience.
Exactly. At the moment, we not have fully planned for preparatory games.
Yeah.
It's still just in the pipeline, so it hasn't been finalized. So it's good for the guys to play rugby on a weekend. They're young, they need to play. They need to enjoy the club rugby setup as well. There is a risk of injuries we spoke about earlier, but I think we had a very important meeting with some of the Premier League coaches, and where we want to limit guys, the players playing time on weekends.
Okay.
I know with regards to Orbit, who plays for UNAM, we've had a very good chat with Jan Diergaard, and he's been managing him across the 4 games. He's either played 40 minutes, 60 minutes, or he came off the bench, and that's why we look to manage players, to get the best out of the player for the national setup as well as the club rugby campaign.
All right, that's it. That's Roger and Chat in the studio. They'll be leaving for Madagascar soon to take part in the Under-20 Africa Cup. And playing Madagascar in the first match, it's going to be a daunting task for them as well. But like you said, it's not much injury worries, and they're looking forward to the challenge down in Madagascar as well. Now, don't worry. Up next is the Premier League fixtures for this weekend. See where your team is playing so you can go and support them. All right, that was your absolute rugby for this week. Thank you so much to Robert, Roger, and of course Chad. It has been a good edition, and till next time, from all of us here, it's bye for now, and you are watching Absolute Rugby.